And can you imagine if he fight with Shavkat and he beat, Shavkat is a beast, he's undefeated, and he beat, he's gonna become contender.
You are absolutely right. This is what I try to tell your manager every time we make a fight.
Recently, Dana White officially announced a bout between Shavkat Rakhmonov and Garry to determine the next challenger for the champion. While we know plenty about the Irishman, Rakhmonov's story is shrouded in mystery.
When Dana White, he was teasing this before, he said he was going to make an announcement today about the fights that were taking place and what was going to be on UFC 310. And when he said there was no title on the line, I thought, oh my God, this is gonna be crazy.
That dude has gas. True. That dude has gas.
And he'll fight anyone. He ain't afraid of nobody.
Fight anyone. And he rarely gets hurt. He's so talented and long. He's so good at using that distance and that pace that he puts on people. He just stays on you.
Yep.
He's nasty. So that's going to be a real good fight.
Currently, Shavkat Rakhmonov is riding an 18-fight win streak, remains undefeated, and is considered the biggest threat to the reigning champion. Friends, rest assured, this man is none other than a future UFC champion. His performances in the octagon are exceptional, and experts and journalists are already predicting a championship legacy for him.
Let us speak to the man that we were just speaking about. They call him the Nomad. He is undefeated in his pro MMA career, 18-0, undefeated in the UFC as well, 6-0. He's the #1 contender at 170 pounds. He is the great Shavkat Rakhmonov.
Want to know why? Then get comfortable as we dive into the harsh reality that all of Shavkat's opponents face once the cage closes.
I appreciate it very much. And if you can't get Kamaru and you can't get Bilal, maybe you can get Ilia Topuria in December. Maybe we can do that fight. Super fight, you versus, we got him to spot. There he is. Yes, I like that. I heard Topuria want to fight me. Can fight him with one hand, so maybe we do that fight.
Rakhmonov began his athletic journey in his youth. What started as street fights evolved into amateur training and then professional competition. Shavkat pursued boxing and combat sambo. Under the guidance of a distinguished master of sport in combat sambo, Rakhmonov began learning mixed martial arts in his hometown. Later, the Kazakh fighter realized he needed to focus on the world of MMA, where he saw more opportunities for growth. In 2014, Rakhmonov made his debut in M1 Global. At that time, the Kazakh fighter defeated Russian Adam Surov via submission in the first round, immediately establishing himself as a potential champion. In total, Rakhmonov fought 7 times in M1, winning every bout. In 2019, Shavkat became the M1 welterweight champion. In the title fight, Nomad secured a technical knockout victory over a Russian opponent, and that summer, Rakhmonov defended his title against Brazilian Thiago Varejo. In 2019, Rakhmonov signed a historic contract with the UFC, becoming the first Kazakh fighter in the leading global organization. Just 6 months later, in October 2020, the Kazakh made his UFC debut. At UFC 254, Shavkat secured a first-round submission victory over the tough and durable Brazilian Alex Oliveira.
Oh, and a big knee to the body from Rakhmonov. Counter left from Cowboy. Oh, guillotine. Rakhmonov, he's got a great guillotine. Oh, this is the tap. Remember the name, Shavkat Rakhmonov, with a huge win in his debut.
John, this young man said that he was going to dominate this fight. Shavkat Rakhmonov just did that. He won the fight on the feet, and when the fight went to the ground, he got the submission.
In June 2021, Rakhmonov claimed another win via submission, this time defeating Brazilian Michael Prazeres. His fan-favorite rear naked choke helped Shavkat climb to the 41st spot in the global welterweight rankings. The victory allowed Rakhmonov to progress further up the rankings and aim for bigger names. However, in his next fight, he faced a challenging and dangerous opponent for any fighter. Carlston Harris was a versatile mixed martial artist, capable of grappling, possessing strong striking and well-rounded skills. It was after this fight that Rakhmonov began to be compared to the legendary Jean-Claude Van Damme, as he employed techniques reminiscent of the Hollywood star right in the octagon. From the very beginning of the fight, Harris seemed jittery and visibly intimidated by his opponent, while the Kazakh fighter remained composed, patiently waiting and pressuring Harris against the cage. Carlston was so uncomfortable in the stand-up that his punches mostly hit nothing but air. Even in grappling exchanges, the South American fighter was outclassed by Rakhmonov. Although Harris managed to briefly reverse Shavkat against the cage, it was the only successful action he had throughout the fight. In the final minute of the first round, Shavkat floored Harris with a spinning hook kick in true Jean-Claude Van Damme style and immediately finished him off. This spectacular victory placed Rakhmonov among the top 20 fighters in the division, setting him up for a fight against a more prominent name in his next bouts. The next tough test for the Kazakh was Neal Magny, who ranked 10th and was considered one of the most underrated prospects in the welterweight division. While many had seen highlights of Rakhmonov's career, few believed he had championship potential. This fight completely dispelled all doubts about Rakhmonov and convinced the MMA community that Kazakh fighters are a force to be reckoned with in the world of mixed martial arts. The scheduled 3-round fight didn't go the distance. Rakhmonov showcased exceptional striking skills, effectively controlling the distance and neutralizing all the competitive advantages Neal Magny could have used to win the bout. A dominant beatdown and an incredibly high pace in the first round drained all of Magny's energy. By the second round, Shavkat secured a submission victory, earning him a spot at 9th in the welterweight rankings for the first time in his career.
They're the JDM, as you mentioned, Shavkat Rakhmonov. You've got Garry making his way up. You've got
Do you
MVP.
fight Shavkat as an eliminator?
Who?
You.
Who, me? It's funny how we just gonna throw me in there. I thought we was talking about who's next for Leon. But no, there's a lot of great fights.
Shavkat is one of the hottest prospects in the division, undefeated with a 100% finish rate. He is incredibly versatile and has yet to reveal any weakness in his game. He is the fighter that everyone in the top 10 worries about the most. Experts were already considering him a legitimate title contender, and in his next fight against Geoff Neal, he fully lived up to the high expectations. In the first round, the fighters sized each other up. Rakhmonov landed a few significant knee strikes on the American, but Neal showed incredible resilience. It's worth noting that Neal wasn't afraid of Shavkat, and the Kazakh fighter ended up absorbing quite a few strikes. In the second round, Shavkat delivered effective knees to the body, wearing his opponent down and forcing him to give up ground. True to form, Rakhmonov aimed for a finish, but Neal defended smartly and prevented the fight from going to the ground. The third round was spectacular in every way. Shavkat nearly went down from a Neal punch, and the fighters engaged in an all-out brawl. Neal was hindered by a severe cut, leaving his face covered in blood. The third round was almost over, but the audience was in for an exciting conclusion. Shavkat locked Neal in a chokehold, and Geoff didn't have the strength to resist. Rakhmonov not only claimed his 17th consecutive victory, but also made history. Geoff Neal had never lost by submission in the UFC before. So, where does that leave us now? Rakhmonov remains undefeated in his professional career. Moreover, Shavkat has won all 17 of his fights, finishing every single one.
Shavkat Rakhmonov.
Okay.
I've been paying a lot of attention to his fights lately. Google some of his, if you can see some of his highlights. He's got like a karate style.
Okay, I remember seeing this
Beautiful
Mongolian
kicks,
with the hat, the Khabib hat.
You know, you think of a guy like that, you think of a wrestler, but this guy, although he is absolutely a good grappler, his kicks are fucking insane.
In the UFC, the Kazakh fighter boasts 5 victories and currently ranks 5th in the welterweight division. In his last bout, Rakhmonov impressively choked Geoff Neal while standing. Before his fight with the legendary Stephen Thompson, Nomad stated that, with a win, he would become the next contender for the championship title. The pace at the start of the fight was moderate, but Rakhmonov quickly showed his game plan. Pushing his opponent toward the cage, he transitioned into a clinch and imposed passive control. Thompson resisted being taken down, and the fight stalled as both fighters fighters neutralized each other for half the round. Nonetheless, the Kazakh successfully slowed the action and secured the first round in his favor. In the second round, the exchanges began, and Nomad was more effective. While Steven didn't allow him to take him down for long, Rakhmonov managed to bring him to the canvas by the middle of the round. Shavkat was able to get his arm around Thompson's neck, and it's worth noting Thompson's composure in handling the situation. However, Rakhmonov found the opportunity to land elbows, and then once again went for a choke, which he executed perfectly. 5 seconds before the end of the round, Thompson was forced to tap out. Rakhmonov claims his 18th consecutive victory. Moreover, no one had ever defeated Thompson via submission before, but Shavkat managed to do so. His 6th straight win makes the Kazakh fighter a legitimate title contender. Do you understand why we consider Rakhmonov to be the future champion? We are confident he will easily defeat Garry, after which he will mercilessly and dominantly outclass the boring and irrelevant Belal Muhammad. Share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.